Okay, folks, today we're going to test this 1963 to 1964 Chevrolet full-size AM/FM radio. This particular radio is a 64 model, as evidenced by the tag on the bottom. You can see the part number peeking through is 985877. And this is a really nice radio. You'll see more in the pictures. Originally, these radios had a remote heatsink that attached to the back side of the radio to it. So bear with me here. Let me turn off our power so we don't have wires clicking against each other. But originally, there was a heatsink that was remotely mounted somewhere else. And someone cleverly attached a heatsink to this radio, very nicely, I might add. And so now, the transistor, with the wires that would have gone to the remote heatsink, just go into this transistor right here, and the radio is ready to play as a just standalone unit, which is really sweet. Anyway, it's a really nice radio. You can see the chrome is quite nice, the lens is clean, the dial flips nicely, and it flips fully from AM to FM. All the push buttons work as they should, which I'll show you here shortly. There are no knobs included, but your knobs from your 63 or 64 AM radio will go right on this radio. They're the same exact knobs. If you do need knobs, I may have some around here. Feel free to contact me and we can try to work something out. Anyway, we're going to test this guy out. Before we get started, I should tell you that I live in a valley and I'm testing this inside a steel building, which really affects the AM signal. So in general, I don't get anything from the center of the dial on down, and then we'll get some stations as we go up. Just keep in mind that that's not the fault of the radio, but just where I live here. Anyway, we're going to test it, so I'll turn our power supply back on. We have this hooked up to the power supply, a antenna, and the correct, let me make sure the antenna's hooked up, and the correct 8 ohm speaker, and we're going to test it out. So here we go. So as I said, we don't yeah, there we go. So there's a station right in the middle.
Serious concern either way. And not every electric car is catching up.
In King Solomon, you would use this incantation, and then you take a peek.
Anyway, real nice. Anyway, we'll switch over to FM here. Start from the end of the dial. You can see there's no crackling when you adjust the volume, just real nice clear sound. Lots of stations.
Just a little bit. We can head to the crib in a little bit. Just like yesterday.
Se fue con la misma. Conmigo no te equivoques.
To see your guns. You're a private citizen.
El único fue copas de acompañantes. Su equipo de guardia.
Le empezamos por ver.
Y pues
Alarma porque se ha detectado, por ejemplo, ofrecen a la comunidad.
Damn straight. In railway stations with...
Es mi paporro.
Name your ticket.
Anyway, unreal, really nice radio. I'll show you all the push buttons work here. And finally, I'll show you how to set a push button. So if we find a station we like here, say we like this station, you just pull out on a push button, push it back in, then no matter where we go, we can go right back to where we started. Anyway, really cool. You could have saw that, hear that clicking there? That's because the push buttons haven't been used for a while. So when you set a push button, I'll show you. We'll set this one too. So you set the push button. When they haven't been used for a while, you'll hear it click. Then you can move the station and you go back to where you were. Anyway, really nice factory AM/FM radio for the 63, 64 Chevrolet full size. This is one of the most rare Delco radios that there are. Just a really nice example, and like I said, the fact that it has had this heatsink put on the back, it just makes it that much easier for you. And I should mention, if you did want to go back to the remote heatsink because you're a purist, then all you really need to do is take this off, and the wires are still there to plug into the remote heatsink. You just plug them back into it. So anyway, really nice factory AM/FM radio for your 63 or 64 Impala, Biscayne, Bel Air. Don't miss it, guys.